Hi, this is Kasian, and it's time for our weekly conference call at VectorspaceAI. First, we'll consider what's happening around the world. It looks like everybody is keeping their eyes on the fallout from U.S. elections and how that'll impact markets around the world. It's tradable, and that's what we'll talk about later. Virus cases are on the rise in pockets around the world, and this has resulted in lockdowns. Some are calling them firebreak lockdowns in some countries. And Oxford and the vaccine that is being worked on there, it's showing signs of or immune responses in young and old. And that's got the market propped up a bit here. And that's instilled confidence, which has resulted in a new kind of IPO season. Ant is IPOing in a few days here. And water on the moon has been discovered. And that connects to Space Biosciences, which connects to us, because that connects to precision medicine, drug repurposing, and drug compounds connected to public companies, which all connect to Datasets. On the industry side, competition continues to heat up, especially in the alternative data space. We have sent out a few articles related to the latest in alternative data and what's happening, and we're not talking about the satellite images or anything like that. We are talking about new kinds of alternative data. MIT did a study and released research related to AI reviving dead languages that it has not seen before. You might be wondering why that's relevant. That's highly relevant because language is built into the markets, and extracting that language or identifying it is important. GPT-3 is being talked about in connection to the financial markets. The Financial Times had an article titled "Calculating Where Artificial Intelligence Can Do Business" and talked all about GPT-3. GPT-3 is also being talked about in relation to the crypto markets and how traders can leverage natural language processing, or GPT-3. So it would be very prudent, in fact, to get familiar with what GPT-3 is, because it does connect to markets that you are trading right now. So it's certainly worth getting familiar with and paying attention to. And, of course, it connects to the core of our company. GPT-3 is a language model that is one of the many models we use to make predictions. On the crypto side, PayPal was the big news this week, followed by an immediate announcement related to PayPal acquiring another company in the crypto space. So this is positive news no matter what anybody says. This is a matter of branding, and it's a matter of awareness, and it's a matter of removing friction, and some of that friction is cognitive friction, based on how well someone can wrap their head around all the steps that it takes to acquire cryptocurrency, buy or sell it, trade it. So PayPal is certainly helping in that department. BTC is at 13K as a result, and dipped back down. Now it's back up to 13K, and ETH is at 400. On the Vectorspace corporate side, internally, the update we have relates to a capital raise. We have a group that's set to raise capital for us, and this is one of our customers. And as you know, our customers consist of a few hedge funds and asset management companies. And this group is connected to Citadel Securities and would be interested in not only raising capital, but raising capital to trade baskets. On the engineering, product, and operations side, we are focused on the following items: dataset augmentation and documentation. And as a reminder, dataset augmentation means that when you take a time series dataset, open, high, low, close, volume, and extract a beta, which means extracting a stock and then stocks that have similar trading patterns to the one stock that you're looking at. You can then take our data set and form relationships with similar stocks, different stocks, providing you with a different kind of edge or a different kind of signal or alpha. So that is dataset augmentation, appending one dataset to another. And we're actually working on a way to look at both datasets side by side and both clusters side by side and use a dial to weight one cluster over another based on data sources and based on weight of the dataset itself, the individual datasets. We're also going to be producing a document on this, as mentioned before, so that's in progress. And dataset design, that's also in progress. The backtester for thematic baskets, also an engineering effort in progress. This will enable anyone to choose a theme and to see returns for the last year for that theme. So, for example, if you insert the term coronavirus, you would be able to see how that basket of stocks performed over the last year, and we'll be doing that for crypto too. The DTK, the Dataset Toolkit, that's almost ready for release and distribution. It will be listed in descriptions. We'll be providing to all the customers and partners that we have mentioned in previous conference calls. They're all lined up. We're also working on data sheets for data sets. And this is pretty important. People want to know where their data came from. If you've got a data set that's training your AI or ML system and it's making predictions for the world, then you're going to want to know that that data set you're working with is reliable and trustworthy. And using our data pipeline hash, that's one way to ensure where data came from and the changes that occurred to the data. But another way is to instill confidence by providing a data sheet related to the data set, and that describes in detail where the data sources came from, where they originated, how they were transformed, how the data set was built, calculated, and then how clusters can be extracted, and in fact a practical application related to a cluster, and that would be a thematic basket that you can make money on. So data sheets for data sets, that's what our customers are asking for as well, and that relates to a long description of the data set where we've got links back to our site and back to subscription services and so forth. Upselling. On the customers, partners, and collaborators side, we have CloudQuant. Now, CloudQuant is a customer that is different from the other hedge funds and asset management companies and life sciences companies that we've been talking to, or chemical or energy companies. CloudQuant is a company related to Numerai in that they enable traders. In their case, they have 400,000 traders that use their algorithms, use their platform. Some of these traders represent trading houses, prop desks, or whole groups, or companies, or funds. And they provide data and algorithms to this group of 400,000. And we had a call with them, and they are very interested in using our data sets to distribute to their traders and algorithm developers. And they are also interested in becoming our sales and marketing arm. That's the term they used for our data sets. They currently offer 8,000 data sets. Our conversation with them included over 100 billion data sets. They don't offer data sets, we offer, and that's why they like what we do. They're also industry professionals. Of course, they've spent a lot of time in the financial markets at groups like Citadel Securities and other investment banking firms out there. Lots of time on the street, basically. And that means they know what we were talking about, and we know what they're talking about. And they are downstream from us. That means that what we give them, they can sell to their customer base. And this is different from S&P Global, for example. S&P Global distributes data, raw data. So if you're an algorithm developer, you're just going to use that raw data. You're not going to use any algorithms that S&P gives you. So that's why a group like CloudQuant is different. There have been other companies like this that have existed, popped up in the last few years. Quant Connect was a popular one. Quantiax was another one. And as I mentioned, Numerai is a crypto. NMR is the symbol, and they engage in essentially crowdsourced hedge fund algorithms. WorldQuant was a little bit like this too, but WorldQuant was a completely different animal than CloudQuant. So CloudQuant is very modern and very willing to work with us, and they also offered huge PR platform, huge PR program basically. They want to roll out what we're going to be doing together, and this is it's not just a single PR. This is going to be something that is an ongoing process, reoccurring here. So that's good. That's on the CloudQuant side. And we'll be offering bulk subscriptions, block subscriptions, blocks of subscriptions to CloudQuant. And we're going to work with CloudQuant pretty closely to understand how we're going to move blocks of subscriptions to all companies around the world that need data sets. New data that is signed, sealed, and delivered finally. They got a chance to see us grow. We got a chance to see them grow. I think they're at 75 asset management companies and hedge funds now, and they still, after the dialogue with them, almost for about 2 years, we still found that they do not have a dataset provider anywhere near what we offer in terms of what we offer. No one is offering what we offer. So that's a good sign, even today. In fact, we haven't talked with a customer, partner, or any other data vendor that's offering what we offer. So that's a good thing. And it's going to be temporary. We are going to get the Kmart of NLP dataset providers involved here to go ahead and create noise for everybody. But we like that. We can rise above that. And so PR on new data, that'll be coming too. I'll discuss that on the RR, PR, and Marcom side. So all other customer operations are in process. I'm not going to list 20 of them here. With priority going to the quickest path to revenue and VXV onboarding. So think about 400,000 traders onboarded to VXV. Sales and marketing. Sales and marketing is focused on blocks of subscriptions and how we can interface with customers like CloudQuant and others to move blocks immediately, as opposed to setting up shop and devoting resources to one subscription at a time. We are going to go for blocks. We're going to quicken the pace at all costs, almost all costs here. Now we can move on to the IR, PR, and Marcom side. First order of business there is Alpha Week. So Greg Winterton over there asked us to produce a Trump and Biden thematic basket. So there would be two thematic baskets here, one for Trump, one for Biden, or one for Republicans, one for Democrats. And as everyone knows, we are politically focused on just the impact to the markets here or the impact to our technology. And this directly impacts the markets, so we are addressing this, especially as requested by an outside provider who's going to wrap a lot of PR around this. So we are happy about that, and we are also happy that they are interested in continuing to work with us, of course. They see the value, so that's good. Okay, so I've got a note here on new data. I've already discussed that. We're working with their PR team to do a few things with Jim and Chris Bartlett. So this is a bit of a strategy here, and it's going to take some organization. It's not just a wham bam thank you ma'am issue of PR on their side. We want to maximize everything here, biggest bang for the buck. And then we've got the PR from CloudQuant, so we're going to quickly get that deal done as fast as possible. And then I've got a note to go to strategy here. Okay, so questions from the trader base. That's our next section here. And our first question is, looks like there's some setup here. A question about fundraising. I think management interests are fairly aligned with those of token holders. Judging both from how you have structured the token mechanics and from insights you provide, thanks for that. The gap between current valuation and your vision for VXV is simply too huge right now. Agree with your point of view that liquidating equity or tokens right now might not make too much sense. In view of that, how do you look at the small tranches of equity investments you are taking on board? Are they exclusively strategic investors or financial investors as well? Well, so far, we haven't given away any equity. We do plan to, and we are currently in talks with one private equity firm and one large hedge fund. And that's in relation to a direct investment into the company, an equity investment with a side of crypto, and capital to deploy to thematic baskets. They'd like to test them out themselves. And of course, they'll be taking a position in VXV. The next question from the same person, so this is related. I know you previously said that you would like your customers to be investors too. However, if that is not entirely the case, have you considered venture debt? Yes, we have considered venture debt. And that's... First, let me mention that our investors, every single investor is a customer of ours, and every single customer is an investor of ours. So that is entirely the case. And we have not yet considered venture debt. We're looking at maybe revenue financing, but we really don't want to get into any of that. We would rather work with our closest partners in terms of capital. And our closest partners include our customers, and these are very well capitalized customers. They include hedge funds and asset management companies. So we'll be talking to them first. We'll be talking with S&P and a few other customers in our camp before we talk with any unrelated investors. The next question, and this is also connected. I'm assuming as you start getting increasing traction on VXV, you will be a business with resilient, predictable cash flow, and debt could help conserve long-term valuation for yourself. And anything which is good for the team, I will assume is good for the token holders in the long run. Would be interesting to hear your thoughts. Yes, so taking on debt, as long as debt is not toxic. And the difference when you run a private startup and you take on non-toxic debt, for example, you've got the Y Combinator SAFE agreements, SAFE. These agreements are non-toxic for private companies, but when you have a public company and you take on debt, or what's called a credit line, you run the risk of groups not only taking equity but taking tokens back and selling them on the open market, creating what's called a death spiral, and we don't want to be associated to that. So as long as debt is non-toxic, and I understand that you are correct that debt, and based on my experience, you're definitely correct that you definitely want to take debt if you could, if it's non-toxic over giving away your equity or tokens. So absolutely. We'll be smart. The next question, how can I join the thematic basket group as a token holder to test? You can direct message Richard Monez on the Telegram channel. Next question is the team currently being paid in tokens? If yes, what's the max % of the salary? No, we're not interested in paying the team or anyone in tokens. We're interested in paying ourselves in tokens, and that would mean buybacks, of course. Next question, have you ever considered... Let me first mention something that relates to providing the team with tokens. We provide the team with tokens on a bonus basis, and that means based on a team member's performance, they do have an option, or as a company, we have an option, depending on performance, agreed upon performance, that they can be bonused in tokens. It's rare, but it does happen. Next question, have you ever considered listing on MXE? They offer free listing. I've never heard of MXE. You can let us know, whoever asked this question, you can let us know what their volume looks like. Meaning in terms of how much of their volume is organic and how much of it is not, or washed, or bot driven. Same deal. Next question, when in the world are you guys going to pull the trigger? So I assume this means, when are we going to go ahead and distribute datasets, light up the network? Well, when the time is right. I realize that's not an answer, but that's the best we can give, but maybe we can do a little better here. Right now, we have been saying when the time is right. Most of it is about timing in the team. So we are laying down pipelines, as we've mentioned before, and these pipelines are for dataset distribution. It can be likened to building a dam and charging for electricity. It takes a while for the water to fill up, and that water might be data, but in this case, just engineering priorities. So what we do is we prioritize for, number one, parity with internal engineering resources. You can only go as fast as engineering. 2, parity with customers. That means we operate at the speed of our customers. If one slows down, we have to slow down too. If one speeds up, if we can speed up, we will. If we can't, and we have to wait for engineering, we will. 3, quickest path to revenue. And 4, whoever has the largest block of users or traders we can acquire. So as this dam fills up, you'll notice that the value of our company only increases. And you'll see it reflected in the value of VXV based on our data sets, of course. Our next section is the strategy section, and we have got an IR, PR, and Marcom note here. And that relates to creating an outline for teaching a class in dataset design construction, creating thematic baskets. We're considering this. 1, it would be choose your data sources, public or private. 2, what it means to choose rows and columns. 3, choose a context. 4, models, formal GPT-3, BERT, experimental VXV, LBNL. 5, distance calculations. 6, measuring for accuracy and precision. A, academic benchmarks, glue, superglue, F1 rock. B, industry benchmarks, Sortino Sharp. Anyway, this this whole class outline here is probably going to be put together as a way for our customers and their internal data engineers to maximize their value with VXV datasets. So that's going to be highly strategic, obviously. That's why it's under the strategy session here. Long term, and could be quite beneficial for everyone involved here, as these students in classes that they teach related to machine learning, and as our customers really make the most of our data sets here, as we help them make the most of our data sets. And then, as we mentioned, there was water on the moon. And we had mentioned that relates to space biosciences and precision medicine, drug repurposing, drug compounds. But water on the moon means that we can power ourselves with a bit of water. You can turn water into hydrogen. And with energy on the moon, you can explore space, deep space. And that means increasing our knowledge of the stars. But what can we learn from the stars that we can practically apply? Well, we can learn how galaxies are organized into clusters. How do stars connect to my health or my pocketbook, someone might ask. Well, how do stars connect to thematic baskets? It's interesting, clustering of stars. We learned a lot about clustering of stars. One of the reasons we are here is because we are the first clustering application method we used was called autoclass. It was from JPL. And 20 attributes were used to describe stars. And today we use thousands and sometimes over millions in some cases, involving new language models today. So an interdisciplinary research effort takes place here. Our baskets, our thematic baskets are clusters. What we learned about clustering from the stars is what we can apply to clustering stocks or crypto around a global event and extracting more alpha. So this connects to what we do, and we want to let everybody know that when we talk about the various industries and areas that our data sets apply, we are singularly focused on the data set, and the data set results, in this case, in clusters. And these clusters result in thematic baskets that can be traded. And then there's one more thing that connects to this new discovery on the moon here. There's a lot happening in space right now. And Microsoft, one of our partners, is establishing or has established Azure Space. This is a cloud and data effort related to everything in space and everything happening in the space industry. And they are in partnership with SpaceX. And SpaceX and Tesla, as you know, have put together a data center or a cloud AI service that requires data sets. So we'll be working with Microsoft as they move their Azure Space effort forward, and we'll be working with any groups, including SpaceX, related to supplying data sets so that better clusters and predictions, hypotheses, and discoveries can be made. This has been a pre-recorded call. If you have any questions, you can post them online. Otherwise, I will see you online and next week. Thanks and bye.